You know, the reality is we can't save anyone, can we? Not even an unbelieving spouse. We can do a lot of things that God has commanded us to do. We can pray for them. We can tell them the gospel. We can live out the gospel in front of them. We can treat them in a way that demonstrates God's grace and his mercy and his kindness and his love. But at the end of the day, we do not know if God will use us or someone else to bring that person to salvation. And salvation rests in the hands of the Lord. And what we have to do as Christians when we have unbelievers in our lives, including an unbelieving spouse, is say, Lord, they're in your hands, not mine. I will be obedient to you, but I understand I can't save them, and it might not be your will for me to be the instrument that God uses to save. When the marriage ends and you are concerned for the soul of the one who abandoned you, you can rest in God's sovereign rule over their salvation, knowing that God is able to save, even without you in the picture. Isn't that a wonderful thing? God doesn't need us to save anyone. God can save all that he intends to save without us helping him at all. Now, that doesn't give us an excuse not to pray, not to preach the gospel, and all those things. God has commanded us to do those things, and we should do those as an act of obedience, but we don't do those things out of a fear that God can't work without us. And I think this is a great reminder to all of us as we think about our loved ones who don't know the Lord. Even if you're in a Christian marriage, there are people in your life, I'm sure, that you know who don't know Christ. Parents, children, siblings, co-workers, friends, neighbors. And we so deeply desire for them to know the Lord. And oh, what a blessing it would be if God were to say to us, you go share the gospel, and I'm going to use you to lead them to salvation. We would love to be that instrument. But we don't know how God plans to save those whom he will save. Whether it will be using us or using someone else. Our calling is not to be the Savior. Our calling is to be obedient to the Savior so that he can use us in whatever way he desires to use us. And our desire should be, Lord, I just want to be used how you see fit. You have wisdom. You have understanding. I don't see the whole picture. And so however you want to use me, use me. Whatever circumstance, use me in that circumstance. And if that is to continue being married to an unbeliever in this context and seeing them come to faith perhaps through my example and godly lifestyle and proclaiming the gospel in my prayers, praise your name. But if that is them leaving, then praise your name for that as well. And I trust you. And we must trust in the Lord to save. Because ultimately, salvation belongs to the Lord. Let's pray.